I know you've heard the name many times, whether in football, in the context of Pablo Escobar, or perhaps its vibrant nightlife. This is Colombia, a country located right in the heart of the Amazon with a population that has been yearning for happiness for years. Colombia is a country 5 times the size of its neighbor Ecuador. With a population of 52 million, it boasts an immense land area of 1,142 square kilometers and has a rather diverse geography. For instance, the country's north faces the Caribbean Sea, while its west is bordered by the vast Pacific Ocean. To the north, it shares a land border with Panama. To the south, you'll find Ecuador, and to the east, Venezuela. Additionally, hundreds of rivers crisscross the country, contributing to its fertile lands. Regarding the geography of the country, it's worth noting that not every corner of this massive land area, which exceeds 1 million square kilometers, is inhabited. Settlements are primarily concentrated in the northern and western regions of the country. The southeastern and southern parts of the country are entirely covered by the Amazon rainforests, where there are no signs of human life. Only a few primitive tribes lead secluded lives within these forests. Today, Colombia is the second most populous country in South America after Brazil. The consequences of having a large population in a relatively underdeveloped country have led to problems that push people to theft and robbery. Here's one of those cities, Medellin. It's situated in Colombia's interior and lies to the north of the capital, Bogota. It gained its initial fame, or rather notoriety, primarily through the negative image associated with Pablo Escobar. When viewed from above, the city's skyline may remind you of Hong Kong. The fact that a population of nearly 3 million resides in this relatively small 380 square kilometer area has led to the construction of tall, vertical buildings. Until about 30 years ago, Medellin was known as the world's most dangerous city. Even today, there are slum neighborhoods, but the once powerful organized crime cartels are nearly non-existent. This city, once the stronghold of the cartels, is now one of the most visited tourist destinations in Colombia. People visiting this country invariably make a stop in Medellin and pay a visit to Escobar's grave. The founder of the Medellin cartel, Escobar, became the subject of numerous TV series and movies worldwide. Afterward, he was taken out of the picture by US-backed agents. Following Escobar, Medellin and Colombia embarked on a rapid process of renewal to rid themselves of the negative image they had acquired. Over time, they have succeeded in erasing some of the previously held negative perceptions. Streets that were once too dangerous to enter have now become tourist hubs. The city is teeming with street artists and graffiti on almost every corner. Particularly, there's a district in the city called COMUNA 13, and daytime life in Medellin revolves around it. In fact, COMUNA 13 is among the most photographed areas in the country. It's a place where you can easily mingle with Colombian locals. Additionally, Medellin is a very warm city, and when people here want to escape the heat, they flock to shopping malls. Malls and fairs in the country are bustling at all hours of the day. Medellin, therefore, attracts tourists from all over the world. One of the most significant reasons for this is the extreme devaluation of the Colombian currency, the peso. According to the official exchange rate, $1 is approximately 4,000 to 100 Colombian pesos. You can get a hearty meal anywhere in the country for as little as 12,000 pesos. So, an outsider can fill up for just $3 and stay in luxury hotels for around $3,035 a night. If you were to ask, the average person living in Medellin and the capital, Bogota, can earn as little as $300 a month. The minimum wage in the country is just $261. So, local people do not enjoy as comfortable a life as tourists here. The country has an Uber system, and for about $3, you can get anywhere you want in Medellin without having to deal with crowded public transportation. But if you take regular yellow taxis, you might end up paying a lot more. Locals, on the other hand, prefer to use motorcycles. As buying a car is not easy for most Colombians, people can't save much, and what they earn goes towards their essential needs. This is why Colombia is like the Thailand of South America. Here, both eating and having fun are incredibly cheap, and unemployment is high. For example, there are many street vendors. You might think the cost of such a lemonade from a street vendor is almost nothing at 3,000 pesos, which is less than $1. The city center is lively, with street vendors and crowds of people everywhere. The most challenging part for shop owners is that Colombia is near the Ecuador line, so the weather is very hot and humid. This country gets sunlight at a very steep angle because of its location, which makes it even hotter. Given that the city is quite crowded both during the day and at night, you really need to be careful with your wallet and bag in Colombia. There are many pickpockets in the country, so tourists often don't carry their wallets with them and only take the amount of money they plan to spend when they go out. In fact, you can sometimes see the police apprehending people even during daylight hours. In Medellin, there are street dancers like this in the middle of the city as well. Whenever the traffic lights turn red, they dance in the middle of the road and then ask for money from the cars. It seemed a bit like a futile effort to me, considering the effort involved. Some others jump in front of cars and clean windshields to try and earn a living. At night, when you stroll the streets of Medellin, you can see that people's lives are lived on the streets. Almost every place is crowded, and there are thousands of people who come to Colombia just for the nightlife. Unfortunately, this country is, in fact, a center for prostitution in South America. Many women, especially those from Venezuela and Ecuador, come to Medellin and engage in this profession. You can easily see negotiations for this work taking place in the narrow streets. When you meet someone in any establishment, they will inevitably ask you for money. They are very friendly and may even pose for the camera when you talk to them, but after a while, the conversation invariably turns to money. If you want to meet a local person, no one looks at the face of someone without money and doesn't waste their time. If you make it clear that you have money, you can find dozens of people to spend time with in a matter of minutes. In fact, if you make eye contact for more than 5 seconds, they start coming towards you on their own. Moreover, Colombian police don't interfere with these people. In short, prostitution is legal in the country. The police only intervene with people selling foreign substances and never interfere with human relationships. If you are inclined towards completely natural relationships, you must definitely dance with Colombians. The unique Latin dances of their geography are one of the most important details that connect people in the country. Music doesn't stop until 5 in the morning, and they dance continuously. In the end, if the minimum wage in a country is less than $400, and unemployment is high due to the population, people resort to any means to maintain their quality of life. In Colombia, money opens every door, and Medellin is the best example of this. And here is the capital Bogota with its colorful cityscape. A city of 7 million people where cable cars run over it. Located at an altitude of 2,650 meters above sea level. Nestled among the mountains, just like in Medellin, street art is highly valued here due to its location. Bogota is now in one of the most inland and central regions of Colombia. The city's operation gives a much smoother and more metropolitan atmosphere compared to Medellin. It's safe to say that Colombia's main business field operates through Bogota. At the same time, those who want to study at a university in the country primarily come to Bogota. The Santa Fe Street, which is referred to as the most dangerous area in Bogota, is where illegal activities take place, and most people dare not enter. Of course, Colombia is not just about cheap food and a lively nightlife. There are many other factors that make the country stand out. For example, Here's a special place in South America where you can feel like you're in Norway. It's the GUATAPE village, just a 2-hour drive from Medellin. A green paradise where mountains meet lakes. The most striking feature in the region is this huge rock formation. It's believed to have formed millions of years ago. Nowadays, it serves a tourist purpose, and of course, there's a fee to climb it. What if I told you that this magnificent lake view was artificially created? Although it looks so natural when you look from above, it was actually created by Colombians. In the 1970s, this area was turned into a lake, and it provided electricity to Colombia with a dam. Colombia's villages like this have some unusual local markets. First and foremost, people in these local markets are determined to make music, even in the markets. But that's not the strangest part. People in the markets are selling and eating alligator heads and fish of a kind you've never seen before. They say these fish grow in the Amazon rivers. Additionally, Colombians, unable to afford ready-made cigarettes, smoke rolled tobacco. These tobacco products are made by the vendors and sold to the public at much cheaper prices. Although Colombians are warm and friendly people, especially in rural areas like this, they eat whatever they can find. Even turtles. You can find a live turtle at the market, grill it, and eat it. In my personal opinion, the reason for consuming things down to worms must be due to economic hardship. Otherwise, it's hard to understand why people would eat worms or turtles. On the other hand, there is a river in Colombia like nothing you've ever seen before. This river is located in the middle of the Amazon forests and has a completely red appearance. The reason for this is a red plant that grows inside the river, which is not found anywhere else in the world, according to Colombians. Discovered in 1969. The river has been named the Five-Colored River since that day. If Colombia hasn't piqued your interest enough so far, there is another place in the country that is truly unique. Imagine a tiny island in the middle of the sea, with no land connection. The island is teeming with people, and every inch of the island has a shanty. There is no municipality in the area, and the locals govern themselves and establish their own rules. In fact, there is not even a police officer who can reach the area if a crime is committed. In case of illness, there is no hospital they can urgently go to either. They have to treat themselves or embark on a long journey to the mainland. There are 1,000 to 100 people living in this tiny settlement. Moreover, you won't find chain stores, supermarkets, or shops of any kind on the island. The island is named Santa Cruz del, and it exists independently from life on Colombia's mainland. The only way to reach the area is to take a boat tour from the mainland to the island. The maximum amount of time that someone who doesn't live on the island can stay there is 10 days. The island residents do not want anyone to stay longer than 10 days. There is only one hostel on the island, and there are no other options. The island's inhabitants' sole source of income is catching fish and selling them in Colombia, as you might expect. The main food consumed by families on the island is fish. They meet their electricity needs through solar panels installed on the island. There are over 200 solar panels on the island, and they even have Wi-Fi internet. So, while they live in isolation from Colombia's internal affairs, it cannot be said that they lead an isolated life from the modern age. However, they do not have a sewage system, and the islanders are forced to use the water they catch fish in for their toilet needs. This makes the place uninhabitable in terms of hygiene. The truly isolated ones are the Amazon tribes in Colombia. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe.